It'll be 1 to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 dig, 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 go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Okay, everyone, we're ready to start our driver press conferences for the day. First up, driver number 31, AT&T Mobility Chevrolet, Jeff Burton. Jeff, give us a quick idea on what you're expecting here at this racetrack and then this weekend, and we'll go to questions.
Well, this has been this track's been probably our biggest thorn in our side. I mean, we just haven't run well here in several years. We ran poorly here in the spring. This is just, for whatever reason, we just hadn't run very well here. So we come here hoping to improve on that. We worked very hard. It's time to get going. The 4 races to go in this deal. So first thing we got to do is get ourselves established in the chase. But it's time to get making some more better lap time, and hopefully we can improve on our performance here in the spring, because it wasn't very good. So we've worked really hard. Got a lot of new stuff, a lot of different stuff, and testing a lot. Everybody's kind of tired, so hopefully we can get some results.
We'll take questions for Jeff. We have wireless mic. Please give us your name and affiliation prior.
Wolfgang Monser from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. 3 weeks after the Brickyard race, what's the situation with the tires? Did Goodyear improve or make a new tire, or what's the situation look like at the moment?
Well, we really hadn't had the issues anywhere other than at Indy. I mean, Indy was a place where just nothing worked very well. So in an effort to fix that, Goodyear's doing some testing at Indy. I know they did a tire test this week at Charlotte. But we typically, early in the year, we had some trouble at Atlanta with the grip of the tire. But for the most part, tires haven't been as big of an issue, certainly as they were at Indy. At Indy, that was a huge issue. But the tire that Goodyear has designed for almost every other racetrack hasn't been an issue. So it was much more of a Indy isolated problem than an overall problem.
Marty, go ahead.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Burton, are you familiar with the term hypermiling?
Hypermiling?
Yeah, it's some kind of way that people on the interstate save gas with certain driving techniques.
I'm very unfamiliar with that.
Well,
but I'm willing to learn.
All I know is it's in the newspaper. It's in the newspaper. No, man, it doesn't matter. When we race here, it seems like it always is a fuel mileage situation.
Hypermiling.
Hypermiling. And that's kind of what Junior did to win last time.
He's a good hypermiler.
When your crew
chief... Is that an Olympic event?
It certainly should be.
Is he a 3-time gold medal winner in the hypermiling?
If your crew chief comes on the radio and says, say, fuel, what goes through your mind? What sort of progression that you have to do as a driver goes through your mind?
Well, the first thing I need to know is how much fuel do we need to save. You can't come in with, you can't tell the driver to save fuel with 5 laps to go in the race. That has to be, the information has to be fed to a driver as soon as that run starts. Look, we're on the edge here. We might need to save fuel, and so you need that information early. The only way to save fuel is to go slower. You deaccelerate sooner. You off the throttle sooner. You're on the throttle later, and you're on the throttle less aggressively. Those are and by the way, you still have to make reasonable lap time in most cases. So you almost have to. It's either I'm either going to save fuel or I'm not. If you're going to run hard and make lap time, you can't worry about fuel. If you're going to save fuel, then you just have to slow down. That's where the information is important. If Scott comes on and says, look, we have a half a lap to gain over 50 laps, I can handle that. If he comes and says, I have 10 laps, you got 5 laps you have to gain, well, that means all we can do is slow down a great deal. So you really just have to know all of the information in order to make the right decision. And then if it works out to where you're on a 40-lap run or a 38-lap run, let's say, and people are starting to pit and you're trying to stretch it, then the information about how far the guy behind you becomes important. Now how much can I slow down if we're trying to make it to the end of the race? Can I slow down 4 seconds and not lose anything? And that's where the driver just has to have information. But the earlier he has that information, the better he can do of saving fuel.
We're going to go to Dustin, then Ed.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Jeff, with here in California, the two remaining high horsepower tracks before you get into the Chase, and the Chase has got 5 half-mile tracks. Even where these are a little bit different speedways, is Michigan and California these essentially dress rehearsals for what you could see in the Chase with so many mile-and-a-half high horsepower tracks, or would that be not fair to call these two races kind of a dress rehearsal?
Well, I think these tracks are a great deal different than Charlotte, Atlanta, Texas, Homestead. Certainly, this is probably here in California for the size of the racetrack, have the lowest grip of all racetracks. Texas has a tremendous amount of grip. Charlotte has a tremendous amount of grip. Homestead has a tremendous amount of grip. Atlanta not so much. It does, but then it goes away in the race. So this is these racetracks are, in my opinion, unique to themselves. And this racetrack unique from California because the grip level here is so low compared to those racetracks. So we see people routinely that run very well here that struggle at almost every other racetrack. And then we see people that run well at almost every other racetrack that struggle here. So this is for whatever reason a very unique animal, and I think it's just because of the grip level. It's really low grip. So I don't necessarily think that if you run poorly here, you're going to run poorly at Texas, nor if you run positive here, you're going to run positive at Texas, because I think they're just completely different. These are real these are real long radius corners. The radius of these corners is greater than the radiuses at Texas. The banking's different. The transitions into the corners are different. These are real sweeping, real slow entry corners. When I say slow, I'm not talking about steering wheel input. You stay against the wall. You make a big, late, slow arc. Texas is much more aggressive with the wheel, off the throttle, completely different. This is a much smoother transition, which means the way the car approaches the corner, from a physics standpoint, is quite a bit different than it is at a place like Texas. So they're tremendously different, which means I don't think that it's so much a dress rehearsal.